Welcome back to the Kind Mama Club. Here you'll find strategies and activities for your little one, hit those developmental milestones, as well as sharing my experiences as a first-time mom. I'm Gumi, a pediatric occupational therapist with the passion of making the world a more kind, inclusive, and supportive place. Here on this channel, you'll find practical OT strategies, mama knowledge, and encouragement so you can feel confident, supported, and never alone. If this sounds like the club for you, please subscribe. And today I'm going to be talking about why I went to the ER during my first week postpartum. It's not to scare you guys. I chose to go to the ER. I just wanted to talk about because I do hear from friends like I'm going to the ER, but I don't really hear like the details of it. Or that first week postpartum is wild. It's a blur. You're not sleeping, and I am a big sleeper. Like, I need sleep to function, whereas my husband does not need as much, but I need sleep to function, and I wasn't getting it. This is what happened to me day 4 postpartum. We stayed at the hospital 2 nights after she was born, and you come home and you're trying to have some sort of a schedule, kind of. So you're feeding every 2 to 3 hours. I was breastfeeding. You're trying to see if she's sleeping. You're holding her. You're trying to just kind of get used to things at home now, because at the hospital there's nurses checking in on you and things like that. But now you guys are in it for yourselves now. So everything was pretty okay. Like, it was pretty good actually. My mom stayed with us the first week. She helped us cook meals and stuff, which literally is the most helpful thing I think during postpartum. If anybody asks how can I help or what can I do, just tell them to bring food, because food, you need food. You need sleep and food and hydration, but food really helps because you don't have to think about what you're gonna eat. Well, kind of, they ask you like, what do you want to eat, but you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean, and that's like energy that you don't really have during that first week, first month postpartum, because you're just adjusting to your new 2 to 3 hour schedule. And so everything was good. Our baby was doing good, we were doing okay. And then there was this one day that I couldn't nap, or I tried really hard napping and I couldn't nap, and it felt like I was like lacking literally oxygen to my brain. Like, I would breathe and I would feel my brain like trying to get the oxygen or something, and I would try to breathe like deeply to get more, but I wasn't getting enough. So I was trying to nap, but I couldn't nap because I couldn't breathe basically, or breathe well, or have enough oxygen. Yeah. So then I couldn't nap. I tried to nap at 9. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep. Oh, I literally threw up everything. So I was like tossing and turning, trying to sleep. I threw up everything that I ate. And I also did number 2. So I literally cleared out my whole system. There was nothing in my system. And still again, I felt like I didn't get enough oxygen to my brain. Like, it was the first time that ever happened to me. And I was like, kind of freaking out because it was my first time. And I didn't go into hyperventilation, but I was just trying to breathe, just like get more oxygen so my brain didn't feel that way. It was so weird. But I couldn't sleep, and then when I try to sleep, I usually hug a pillow in between, and I'll put a pillow in between my legs, and then my calf was getting numb, and I was like, what is happening? And I looked down at my feet and they looked swollen, and I was like, okay. I measured my blood pressure, so my blood pressure usually never is like around the 120/80 range, which is the normal range for blood pressure. Usually never have high blood pressure, but when I measured it that time, it was a 135/90. So that is in the yellow zone of blood pressure. And the thing that for my pregnancy, I didn't have preeclampsia. It was a healthy almost 41 week pregnancy. I had a vaginal delivery, but because I knew some people can get preeclampsia post-birth, there's a post-birth preeclampsia, and I was looking at the symptoms. What I had was kind of checking off those symptoms basically. Like, I knew I was healthy and everything was good, but what freaked me out was the lack of oxygen to my brain and not being able to breathe. It was the first time that ever happened to me. I looked up the postpartum preeclampsia symptoms and then, kind of checked out. So I was like, okay, I kind of want to go to the ER because just to make sure everything's okay. Because the not being able to breathe, it was like, I gotta go. Because I tried doing like meditation tracks. Like, I thought it was an anxiety attack. So I was like, okay, let me just try anxiety, like meditation tracks or things like that. But then those meditation tracks, they really like you hone in and you focus on your breathing, which I think didn't help for me because I'm trying to breathe and I could do it slowly and I'm following the track, but I'm still not getting enough. So it didn't work for me. So I told my husband, I was like, I have to go to I want to go to the ER just to make sure that it wasn't that postpartum preeclampsia. And thank goodness that our in-laws live close to us, so they were able to watch our baby. We went and I was like, I'm having these symptoms, and I was not good. I was not good. I was literally like this, and I was just trying to breathe, and even if they asked questions, I could barely talk. I was like mumbling. You can tell I was not good at all. They did like the blood pressure there too, the heart rate. Oh, and I also measured my oxygen saturation because I work in healthcare and I have the oxygen saturation little like machine you put on your finger. I was at a 92 and I was like, I'm not getting oxygen. And I measured my blood pressure and my blood pressure was a little bit high. So I can't emphasize how important it is, I think, to have at least, maybe you don't need the oxygen one, but at least a blood pressure machine just so you can monitor, and then you could tell the ER people, they're gonna measure your blood pressure there too. But or maybe it's because I'm in healthcare, I want these machines. But I think everybody, at least the blood pressure machine, I am advocating for everyone to maybe get it. It will be handy, I think. So we go to the ER. I'm barely functioning. I think they took my blood. I'm pretty sure, yes, they took my blood. We were waiting in a little room. I got really cold. Just like my body, I think my body was shutting down. So all in all, I did not have postpartum preeclampsia. I did find out I had a UTI. So it was weird, that first week postpartum, my down there area healing was pretty good. Like at the hospital, it was a 0 out of 10 for pain. The doctor said, oh, you might have a little burning when you urinate and stuff. No burning. It was like, I was like, wow, like I was so lucky. I was like, wow, my healing process is pretty good. Except every time I stood up from a sitting position, it was like discomfort, I guess. Like the nerves like going like like that. And I felt that every time. So I stood up. So I was like, ugh, like it wasn't easy to stand up. But I thought that was just because of the healing process. But now I know that's from the UTI. So I'm all glad that I went to the ER because I wouldn't have found out that I had a UTI because I didn't have the normal UTI symptoms like the burning sensation or you're wanting to like urinate frequently, like the typical UTI symptoms. I didn't have any of those, so I don't think I would have caught it until maybe I got like a fever or something. My husband was like telling me kind of funny stories, and I could feel my body like quote unquote going back to normal and kind of being okay. So from that like high state of I can't breathe, like I'm panicking, I'm starting to panic, to like, oh, I feel better now. And I am thinking that I'm self-diagnosing, which is, you know, you shouldn't do and stuff, but they didn't tell me what was wrong. The doctor didn't tell me. Like, I'm like, so what happened? And I am pretty sure it was overexhaustion. I remember like between her feeds, I'm like, when's her next feed? Okay, I have an hour to sleep. And then I'm like trying to get myself to sleep for that hour. And it was, you know, kind of, you can't just like knock, or I'm the person who can't like knock out right away. And before pregnancy and birth, when I hear people saying, oh, like you feed every 2 to 3 hours, I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of time. Like I thought feeding takes 30 minutes and then you have what, an hour and a half, 2 hours and a half. You are feeding and it maybe takes, yeah, like 30 minutes or whatever it takes you. You have to put the baby to sleep, which can take, you know, another 30 or an hour, you know, and then what, you have 30 minutes to sleep and then it's time to feed again. Like I was doing like that subtraction, like, okay, how many minutes can I sleep basically? And I think that was kind of kicking in. My mom also was like, I think it's overexhaustion, because it was kind of always like towards the end of the night, and then if I felt like I would gag, and if I would start gagging, that kind of meant like, okay, you have to rest, you gotta just like be in bed and do nothing type of thing. I guess watch out for your cues. I always advocate to go to the ER if you feel like you need to. I think it's better safe than sorry, because it's like such a raw, fragile time, that especially that first week postpartum. And there's a lot of new things that's happening, like that, me not being able to breathe and feeling my brain being lack of oxygen. But that is my ER story. I hope you guys don't have to go. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.